They say an addiction is something adverse that you can't stop that's affecting your life negatively. So I think I'm good. This isn't an addiction. I can stop whenever I want, provided the cards lose all value and the game stop being interesting. Trading cards. No one quite knows how we got to where we are, but they are just the hot thing right now. And I have definitely wanted to make content about cards before, but I was afraid I would get confused as one of those fake people jumping on a bandwagon. So in this video, I would love to just talk about cards and talk about the influence it's had on my life, all the experiences I've had. Nothing too over the top sentimental, but I think it'll be at least a little bit interesting. But yeah, okay, hold on. Maybe I'll give something that a general audience member might understand. There is nothing quite as... One sec. You're going on the ground. There is nothing quite as satisfying as just a fully stocked, paged out binder. I feel like a parent showing off pictures of my children. But how did I get this way? How did I turn into an early 20-something standing in front of a camera holding cardboard while wearing a hoodie of an electrical rat on it? Well, that, dear viewer, started when I was a child. Because like most growing up in the early 2000s, I had all of that stuff. And by all of that stuff, I mean mostly Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! I watched the shows, I collected the cards. It was the best. I remember trading on the school bus until it was banned, in which case I was sad. Card games, specifically Yu-Gi-Oh! Were something that really brought me and my siblings together. I had two older brothers. We played the card games together. I remember we played the PlayStation game a ton. This game was so hard, but I remember the three of us would band together and try to beat it. It took us a long time, and when we finally did, it was like a huge event. We finally finished. We finally accomplished something. It's one of the few really crisp, clear memories I have of my brothers growing up. My oldest brother, who is 7 years older than me, was really into Magic, and I remember thinking it was the weirdest looking card game. I didn't understand the mana system. I didn't understand any of that stuff. The cards just looked really awkward and kind of scary to me, so I never really engaged with it. I didn't learn the card game for a long time. Jump forward a little bit to about middle school years. When I was in middle school, it was really hard for me to get money. You see, I didn't really have an allowance. My parents didn't believe in that kind of thing, so I definitely entered that period of life where you sell everything that means something to you. So I ended up selling a lot of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards online. I sold a lot of Pokemon cards I had, and so I basically cleared out my entire collection because I was becoming a grown-up. I didn't like those childish things anymore. So throughout those years, I got rid of most of those cards, and I didn't really think too much about it. I didn't really interact with the cards very much. And to look back on it, it's really sad to think about. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not like everyone and their nan who says that, oh, I had a base set Shining Charizard that would be worth $100,000 if I had it today. No, first off, you didn't. You might have had the original print. You did not have the shadowless one that's worth a lot. And even if you did, it would be in terrible condition. With older cards, it definitely scales with condition. So that huge pet peeve. Really dumb side note. But yeah, no, it wasn't that they're expensive cards. In fact, I have looked into it a few times, and a lot of those cards weren't really worth much at all. But it's just, I couldn't imagine the feeling I could get if I could sift through these cards just one more time. I'm sure some piece of that is what fuels the fact I have so many cards today, but man, that's just, it's crazy to think about that all those cards gone. Anyways, on to happy thoughts. So in the middle of high school, I had that sort of urge again. I was in my entrepreneurial stage, so I had just gotten my first job, and I thought, what's some cool thing I could do on the side? I noticed at the time you could buy this product here. It is a special edition case. The special edition cases sold for $70 each. You could sell the individual boxes for, I think, $10 to $11 each. You see, now that I'm more experienced, I understand what's horribly wrong about that. Because you see, you have your $7 box, your $11 sales price, which makes you think $4 profit. That's not bad on each one. Let's knock off shipping, PayPal fees, eBay fees, packaging, opportunity cost of waiting that long to sell that stuff. And yeah, that was a horrible business idea, which makes it all the better what actually ended up happening. You see, the box came in the mail, and I had it sitting in front of me, and I thought to myself, you know, this price is really low. I should make sure I didn't get fake cards. I think the market price for that box was maybe 75 to 80, and I found it on some sort of sketchy looking site for 70, which really is not unheard of. But in my mind, I thought, it makes complete sense that scammers would make completely separate sets just to sell them for $5 under. So I opened the box, and inside these boxes, they have a promo card and 3 individual packs. And I decided to open up one of the individual packs. And I'm like, okay, I just want to open up this one. It's fine. I'll still make... insert whatever fake number I thought the profit actually was. But anyways, as I'm flipping through these, I am going one by one, and I get to the rare, and it's the most expensive card in the set. I remember this so clearly because I had seen it on a set list, and I was like, that's so cool. What could you imagine actually pulling that card? Because I had not experienced firsthand expensive cardboard before. This card was like $60, and I was standing in awe. I was standing at it, and I was like, oh my god, what are the what are the odds? So I put that aside and I opened up the next pack and I got another good rare. It was a $30 rare. It was this card right here. And I was sitting there I paid $70 for the box, and sitting in front of me are 2 cards worth well over the value. And I had a lot of fun opening them. So I'm like, I'm just gonna open another one. Just one more, it's fine. I'll still make fake insert monies. So I'm going through and I open the next one. And despite this being a really dumb decision all around, I was not punished. I got another expensive rare. It was this one right here. In retrospect, this is so crazy. This card here was $45, give or take, I believe. Blue Eyes Twin Burst, just so you think I'm not just adding random cards in post. Blue Eyes Twin Burst, really cool card. Incredibly expensive. We're just killing it here. I'm gonna fast forward and not waste any of your time. I opened that entire box. I pulled 1 Blue Eyes Twin Burst, 2 Sage with Eyes of Blue, 2 White Stone of Ancient, and 2 of the most expensive Crystal Winged Synchro Dragon. I understand I sound like a nerd, don't get me wrong. That was over $200 when it sold on eBay. So from this little $70 spur of the moment purchase, I made so much money and I had so much fun opening it, and it was so much fun to just have. I can't quite put it into words, but owning these was an amazing feeling. So after I sold that off, I decided this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find a set with some cool expensive cards, and I'm gonna open that set, and that's gonna be my moneymaker. I thought that I was a genius. No one had thought of this before. And then I bought a completely different box and made $10 off of it. Not $10 profit. The cards were worth $10. I lost $60. Nevertheless, I was still up, so this was a good experience. So that's what I did all of high school. I went through buying boxes and switching products, and I was a little bit smarter about it. I figured out actual ratios that I could pretty consistently make money. For instance, there was this product here that contained 3 sealed decks, and I found that if you took the product out, split it into the 3 decks, cracked a few cards from it, you could pretty consistently make $10 off of it, which was, for the time, a pretty cool little side project. So fast forward to college, and college is where I decided, for whatever reason, Pokemon's cool. I bought a bunch of products, and I just stacked up a bunch of stuff, and it was the same sort of thing. I found them on discount first, and I got a cool card, I sold it, made a little bit of money, kept the rest of them. Over time, grew the cards up over and more and more and more. It's really ironic to me now that the card game I spent a lot of time in and a lot of devotion to, I don't have very many of them left. I kept a handful of rares, and this is basically my collection. I got another one kicking around here somewhere, but yeah, it's really weird to think about, definitely. But then we move into just about a year ago, where I moved in with my current roommate. He was the one from the Wing Sauce video. He was really into Magic, and again, my experience with Magic was my brother, and I thought it was this weird, scary, creepy, odd game. But he was really into it, and I'm the kind of person that when someone's excited about something, I can get excited for them and kind of just match that energy. So with a lot of time spent around the house, I agreed I would learn Magic. It was cool. My other roommate also did, so we had a nice little play group going. And from there, I have just been playing Magic a lot. This is the first time since when I was little that I've actually been collecting cards for use rather than just to stockpile them over time. I really like going to card shops too, because I've never had that trade dynamic before. I was never confident enough in my interest to just go around and interact with other people who like the same thing. I remember one time I worked up the courage in freshman year to walk into a card shop to ask about Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was like, oh, I just want to find products, right? I just want to find sealed product, see what they have. So I walked in, the guy at the counter looks at me, says, hey, what are you looking for? I was like, very confident, new me. What do you got as far as Yu-Gi-Oh! Products? And the guy just kind of looks me in the face and goes, I didn't think anyone played that still. And I was like, okay. Walked right out of there. Now that I have other people who share the interest and other card stores to go to, that place closed down, by the way, I've been able to play with random people and trade cards, and it's just been a super fun experience. And yeah, cards have just been something I've really liked having. Cards are cool. That's all I'm going to say. And the fact that more people are seeing that they're cool, regardless of why they like it, regardless of their motives, it's really nice to see more people liking cards and really appreciating them and being able to say, wow, that's cool. Wow, that's something I want to have. And that honestly makes me really happy. It's really weird to think that I'm going to be making a video about cards, and I'm sure at least a few people are going to think I'm just chasing some sort of trend. I am just as shocked as you that this is a trend. But anyways, I'm going to jump to the table point of view so I can show you guys a few things. Alrighty, now we get into the juicy part of this video. I really like going through cards, so I'm going to do my best to try to keep this decently brief and not make this a 30-minute video when it has no right to be. And I will actually start with the expensive ones because I think that that's what a lot of people are here for. So what we're going to do is we're going to do top 5 expensive cards, and then I'll just go through a bunch of other cards I like that are, well, definitely not valueless. Some of them actually fetch quite a pretty penny. They're not super significant. So number 5, we actually have a tie. We have this gorgeous, beautiful, full art, secret rare Gardevoir, and this Commander Collection Green Worldly Tutor. Both of these cards are actually sitting around $24. They go back and forth depending on the day, but for the most part, they're $24. They're actually surprisingly, I think this is one of the best way to illustrate the differences between Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, because whereas this one, you can kind of look at it and see it's got all the texturing, it's got the foiling, you can really tell that there's probably some higher price tag this fetches. Whereas this one is completely innocuous. No foiling except for the little dot on the bottom. You would never guess that this was an expensive card if you just looked at it, but of course, Magic doesn't quite prioritize foiling as opposed to useful cards. And on to number 4, we have another Magic card. We have Thoughtseize. This is actually a newer card. I pulled this a few weeks ago. It is a modern card that they put the old border on, so it looks really nice, a nice little juxtaposition. This card actually dropped in price just a little bit because of resupply, but it's still sitting around $34 right now. When I pulled it, it was like $40. Number 3, we have Shining Celebi. This card is actually really interesting to me. It was printed in a set where they were sort of trying to duplicate the rarity of the elusive. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might know about the Shining Charizard, incredibly expensive card from an old Gen 2 set. This was trying to copy this, but it's actually a more modern card than you'd think. I think this was printed maybe 3 years ago, give or take. I actually bought this at a convention for like $2. It sits around $40 these days. This is just, mind-blowing. I saw it, I was like, oh, it's cool. And at the time, it was sort of just like a junk promo. So they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, $2. Picked it up for like nothing, and now it just really bulks up the value of that binder. On to the number 2 slot, another card that's again just super useful. We got a Magic card in number 2. This is Mana Drain. This is a crazy card, and I love using it a lot, but I definitely want to handle it with kid gloves. It's around $55. It actually has gotten to the point where when I draw it in a game, people can usually tell because I start handling it really carefully. It's super good. I love the artwork. I love the little spiral effect, the reds, the blues. It's just a pretty card. This one doesn't live in a binder. This is in a deck constantly. I love it. I'm very careful. Right now I took it out of its sleeve so I could show you, but it's normally double sleeved. It's normally much more protected than just out and about. We have an honorable mention. So this one here, this is a neat card. This Magic card was from a Legendary collection, which was a reprint set from early on. So this is actually a decently old card. I remember having it as a kid and I was thinking it was fake. I remember, because, fake cards were really rampant back in the early 2000s. So a lot of people told me it's a fake card, it's not real, this foiling, like they would never print this foiling on a card. I believe this was before reverse rares were really a thing. So I remember this card just kind of sat in a binder. I thought it was really, no, it didn't even sit in a binder, it sat in a pile. I didn't even really I liked it a lot, but I thought it was fake. So I was like, oh, well, it's fake. Well, I mean, I like it, but everyone else thinks it's lame. So, and when you're a kid and you're really formative, that's enough for you to not like something. So I actually, I lost it over time. It was one of those cards I thought was really cool. And I actually recently got this as a gift a few months ago. It was nowhere near, actually this wasn't more than a few months ago. This was before everything blew up. This card, I put it as an honorable mention for a few reasons. One, I would never trade it. It doesn't really have a value to me in that sense. And also, the price just fluctuates constantly. I'll log in one day, it'll say $80. I'll check another day, it'll say like $40. At the time of recording, it's sitting around $70. So if I did want to choose the value of this would count as number 2. But it's okay. We'll stick with Mana Drain at number 2. It's just a cool card I really want to show off, but also point out that, it does do some weird things price-wise. And now, for the number 1 spot, what do you guys think it is? What do you think? Is it going to be a Pokemon or Magic card? Guess down below. Do you think it's Pokemon or Magic? You see my collection, it's pretty split both ways. I really think it could go either way. There's definitely cards in both camps that are well over the price tag. I will say this one is my only card that hits 3 digits, which to some might seem a little mundane, but to others is like, why do you have cards that are that expensive? Why is cardboard worth that much? But nevertheless, so get your guesses in, and it is a Shining Lugia. So this card is really, really, really interesting to me. This is a card I like a lot. I've had this was from the same time I got the Celebi. I got this at a convention. Again, you can call it BS in it all you want. I got this for like $5. I went to this convention a few years ago, like 2 years ago or so, and I saw the card vendor. We were flipping through with the people I was with, and I just happened to see these 2 Shining cards, and I bought them because they were dirt cheap. I didn't have a lot of money to spend, and they were like really nice for singles. So I picked this up for like $5, and yeah, ever since the big Pokemon spike, this card is sitting at over $100. At time of recording, I believe it's like 103. It's a really, really nice card. Unfortunately, I really wanted to get it PSA graded because other than a little bit of foil bowing, it's actually in pretty good condition. I think easily a 9. There's no big damages. There's no scrapes in the foiling. The centering is pretty good. I'm not a big PSA person. I like to have them in a binder, but this is a card I really want to get PSA graded when it eventually opens back up. And with that out of the way, if you came to just see expensive cards, I appreciate you stopping by. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go through a bunch of pretty stuff because I like cards. I like cardboard way too much. I'm going to go through these a little bit quicker, but yeah, let's just get into it. So this is a card I use a lot. It is one of my favorite Magic cards. This card is for a format called called Commander. I don't know if anyone here knows Magic or anything, but essentially you find one really good creature and you build an entire deck around it. This was my Commander I chose because it's just super utility, super useful, and I just love the foiling. I love the artwork. But the thing about this is really cool. The front looks really pretty, but if you flip it over, it's a double-sided card, and the back is just unbelievably gorgeous. Again, I really hope the camera is showing just what I'm seeing, because the depth and the color and the rainbow effect, it's so gorgeous. Magic, but this is a non-example. This is perfect. I can't get over it. While we're talking about Magic doing foiling right, I want to talk about another card real quick. This is a really cool card. It's got some really cool, useful stuff going on. I don't want to get into gameplay utility too much because I feel like that's where I'm going to lose people. But just, again, they use this experimental foiling pattern, and it is so cool. It looked more like the sort of textured foil that they put on Pokemon or Full Arts. Again, I really hope it's shining through, but you can kind of see that it's raised in some places. It looks textured. I wish the picture was a little less blurry, but other than that, this is just really cool card. And for the last card I want to show you, this might give me sideways looks, but that's fine. I don't really care. This Sylveon here, I am just a huge fan of it. Again, just the texturing, the way the blue reflects off when you shine it. There's a version of this with the shiny form where the pink would be switched with blue. That's another card I would love to pick up. I don't usually buy singles. The only time I don't think I really ever have. I've usually traded for Magic stuff, and then Pokemon I just collect through pack. I haven't done Pokemon in a long time just because it got incredibly expensive out of nowhere, but definitely something I'd love to take a crack at eventually. It lives on a page with a bunch of them with the same sort of full art GX thing going on. But yeah, that's been my gawking at cardboard section. And with that, thank you all so much for stopping by. If you do me a favor, if you like the video, leave it a like. If you have any cool stories about cards or cards you really like, go ahead and tell me down in the comments below, and I'd really appreciate that. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Have a wonderful rest of your day.